Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Terry Rouse, and I am here with a very, very special Snuggle Bunny story time. So, welcome to Snuggle Bunny story time. On the screen, you see Mr. Chris Conolly. He is a colleague and a dear friend of mine, and he has written and illustrated the book that we are going to be sharing with you this evening. It is called Angelo's Garden, and I cannot wait to begin reading this book to you. So, give me 1 second. Chris, I'm going to change up the. First of all, is there anything that you want to say before we start reading the book? Anything you want to share? Is a colleague and a dear friend of us. We start.
Sorry, my connection's a little off.
It's okay.
Thank you, Dr. Terry, for having me on
okay.
your show. I really appreciate it. Technology is our friend. That's right. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you for having me on here. I know my lighting is a little off, and the technology is our friend, but I wanted to say thank you so much for your support and for having me on here to share this book about my grandfather.
Thank you for allowing me to share this book. Before we get started, I just want to pop in the comments down here, the link to Snuggle Bunny Book Club. And Chris, I know that you're going to include the link to your book. You're going to include the link for Angelo's Garden in the comments on Facebook. Is that correct? Excellent. Okay. So with all that being said, Chris, I'm going to take you off the screen right now. I'm going to take both of us off, and I'm going to go to our document camera so that we can share this book. All right. So here we are. Angelo's Garden, written and illustrated by Chris Conolly. I love the illustrations, by the way, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, in loving memory of my grandfather, Angelo Pinto, you will always be remembered, Pop.
That's beautiful. Angelo loved his garden. He had different types of trees and plants, but his favorite was his fig tree. After working long hours fixing washers and dryers every day, Angelo would come home, sit in his garden, and his cares would melt away. When the wind blew, the large, beautiful leaves often swayed as Angelo sat under his tree and enjoyed the cool shade. He would sit for hours listening to the wind blow. He would relax and sing while his garden would grow. As a young boy, Angelo's grandson, Chris, helped him pick figs from the tree so Angelo could share his figs with friends and family. Many years later, Angelo had to chop down his beautiful tree. No more figs to eat. No more beautiful leaves to see. I can't believe it's gone, said Angelo sadly. How could this be? I put so much time into growing this tree. Without my tree, what good will my garden be? After watching Angelo cut down his tree, chop after chop, Chris walked over to his grandfather and said, "Please don't be sad, Pop. I've grown up and watched you care for your tree, and you have been like a father to me. You cut down your tree, and I know it's not fair, but I want you to know that your garden lives everywhere. See, You've been our tree, and like figs and flowers, you've helped us grow. Your family loves you more than you'll ever know. You make a difference in people's lives every single day, and you created a garden that will never go away. Angelo began to wipe all of his tears away. I love you so much, was all he could say. In 2011, Angelo traveled to the garden in the sky. It has been said Angelo sometimes visits his loved ones on Earth disguised as a butterfly. Some of Angelo's children took a root from his fig tree and grew trees of their own. A few of these trees are now fully grown. Now Angelo's memory lives on through his children and their children and their children. Even though his body is gone, Angelo's garden will always live on. The end. Chris, I just have to tell you how much I love your story.
Oh, thank you so much. You did such a beautiful job reading it.
Thank you. So what I'd love to do is, tell us a little bit about you and how you came to write this. And,
Sure.
I'm going to hold it up here because I want to keep us on the screen. But you've got this great page at the end of the book that talks about your granddad, and it talks about you. And then at the very end of the book, which I love, there's this very special page. And it says at the top, who is someone that is special to you? And I love the fact that there's an opportunity for the children who are reading this book to draw with pencil, crayons, markers, whatever, or even take a photograph and put it at the back of this book because it is so very special. So tell us a little bit about Angelo, you, and the book, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. So, as the story states, Angelo he was my grandfather, and he raised me like a son. I grew up in a single mother home, and she did everything she possibly could to raise me. And I also had a lot of help from my aunts and uncles. But my grandfather was really that father figure for me. So my dad had left when I was 2, and he, I believe that his father wasn't really around much either. So I think he took a special a connection with me. So he raised me. He really, really raised me like a son. And he was just a special, special man to me. Anything good that I am today, or anything good that I have in my life, I attribute a lot of that to him. He just taught me so many valuable lessons about being respectful and being kind and going after what I want. And if you want something, you got to work for it. And just a lot of the values that mean the most to me came from him. So in terms of the back of the book, I did mention some of my background. I am an elementary teacher. So at the moment, I teach English as a second language. And so I get to teach kids from a variety of different cultures and backgrounds. And prior to that, I was a literacy coach. So I have a master's degree in a reading specialist as well as elementary education. And my undergraduate, funny enough, was in marketing, of all things. I wound up switching to teaching because I just wanted to make a difference. And but that's kind of where it started. When I was a kid, I loved drawing. I taught myself how to draw. And my grandfather would save my sketchbooks. And he would say, I'm going to save these for one day when you're so, well, I'm not famous, but I do still love drawing, and I still, I love my grandfather. And this just, I wanted to write a children's book. And I couldn't have thought of a better topic than the person who raised me and the person who just means more to me than anything.
What is the message that you want children and parents, grandparents, people who are reading this book with or to children? What is the message that you want them to get from this?
So I want people to get their own interpretations from the book. So I don't want to necessarily feed them an exact message, because everybody's going to interpret the book differently. But the main message that I want people to get is that whether we realize it or not, every day we're doing things to make a difference. And even though, people have left our lives either for, they may have passed away, or it was a loved one. It could have been, it doesn't have to be a grandparent. It could be a parent. It could be somebody like a mentor. So
Right.
anybody,
We're
and
having a
even though
little
they're with us in the world.
cool.
Was I like fading off in the?
Yeah, a little bit. That's okay. You know what? We got the, I got the understanding. Basically, you're saying we all make a difference in the world, and we make a difference to someone somewhere.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't even
Yes.
know that we've made a difference or an impact, and we may not even know the person that we have impacted. So,
Right.
that's really important for all of us. That is important for us to know and to embrace that, and to bring some goodness and kindness and respect into the world. So I just want to tell you how much I very much appreciate you being here with us tonight on Snuggle Bunny Story Time. Just so that you guys all know who out there watching, this is going to be on Facebook, but I'm also going to take this, Chris, I hope you're okay with this. I'm going to take this and make it part of the Snuggle Bunny Book Club library. And that is a private subscription group, so that people will be able to get to it at any time, anywhere, if they're part of the program. And if you guys are interested in
that would be
the
wonderful.
Snuggle
I really appreciate
Club,
that.
absolutely. Anybody who's interested in the Snuggle Bunny Book Club, what's really cool is that new books drop every week into the private Facebook group. That's where it's housed right now. You have access to those books anytime, anywhere. They don't go away. They stay there. And so you can get at them, when you're in the car or while you're sitting in the living room. The purpose is to create memories and to spend quality time with your children. And I remember what I was trying to say this afternoon. I put up a reminder, Chris, and I said, there's something else that I'm supposed to tell everybody, and I forgot what it was. And I said, but I'll think about it tonight. And I remember now. So I want to share this with all of you. And I think Chris will agree with me. Reading is knowledge. Knowledge is power. And when we give our children the tools to read, they become empowered and powerful. And that's what we want. We want them to be strong, productive, positive, and make a difference in the world. And so I encourage all of you folks out there to, hop onto Snuggle Buddy Book Club, get those books, hop onto the Amazon link, go to your local library, read to your children, read with your children, let your children read to you, because there is nothing like a good book. So, Chris, I just want to say thank you again for joining us here at Snuggle Bunny Book Club and for sharing Angelo's Garden.
Thank you so much for sharing this book. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It means a lot to me.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Terry. Have a good rest of your night. And thank you to everyone for allowing me to share my book.
You're very welcome, Chris. Thank you.